Fyodor Dostoevsky. Reading Dostoevsky after probably 20 years felt like, yeah, I think that pretty much says it. Let's begin with a very short reading. Oh, and by the way, I've put a link below. You can pick up the book on Amazon in the description. I am a sick man. I am a spiteful man. I am an unpleasant man. I think my liver is diseased. However, I don't know beans about my disease, and I am not sure what is bothering me. I don't treat it and never have, though I respect medicine and doctors. And so begin Notes from the Underground. Really, the beginning has no plot as such. It's just him describing his own state of wretchedness. It's a portrait. Really, it's a portrait of psychological man inside of his mind, caught in his mind. What's interesting is that throughout the book, you get the sense that he exists almost outside of time, outside of nature even. There's no sense that there's any natural world around him. And I'm not sure if this was by choice by Dostoevsky, because he definitely describes someone. It makes sense if you look at modern man and how disassociated we've become in a sense from nature, to look at this story and see what he describes, because he describes man moving or in that state where he exists as an entity on himself, the individual battling himself and the world. It's the second half of the novella that deals with more of a plot and things happening. He goes to visit a friend from school, a quote-unquote friend, someone he despises. So he's in such a wretched state that he feels he needs to impose his presence on others to make the situation worse. Not a very social being. And there he sees other schoolmates. They've gotten together and he insists on coming to one of their birthdays, which he goes to the next day. He gets there early. They change the time. They don't tell him. And he basically tells them off. And he goes off into a corner and gets drunk. And by the end of the evening, he's talking to a prostitute. And this is where the depth of the novel comes. And he tells her that she's wasting her life. She's young and she should concentrate on more noble efforts, and focuses on the nobility of humanity, which makes this a beguiling book. Because it shows that we have two aspects, one that reaches beyond ourselves and has a spiritual yearning, and the other that is entrapped in our own humanity. I think that's the point of the novel, and it's what gives this book great depth. Should you read it? I don't know. Oh, wait, correction. Definitely worth the read. I don't know why I hesitated. It's a resounding yes. First of all, if you haven't read Dostoevsky at all, or if you haven't read him in a long time and you want a shorter introduction, a shorter read, it's a novella. I would call it a novella. His other books, Crime and Punishment, which I would also recommend maybe as a second book to read after Notes from the Underground, The Idiot and Brothers Karamazov, they're all much longer novels. So this, due to the length, will take you no more than 2 or 3 days, probably, depending how much time you invest in reading it. And I think you'll get something out of it. That's all for now. After this, I'm going back into the underground.